Hi, I'm Tracy Pierce. Thanks for joining me for this series of mini animal communications. This series was really born out of what's happening in the world today with the coronavirus pandemic, the lockdowns going on throughout the world, and I was just really curious what the animals thought about this, what they wanted to share with us. I figured they could give us a really unique perspective on what's happening in the world, and that's how this whole thing started. It's been a real joy for me to do this. So today we're going to be talking with a horse, and I might show you a couple different pictures of her because she's pretty special. Her name is Selita. So here's a picture of her. She does some pretty amazing healing work with people, and she wanted me to share too the story. I had kind of an interaction with her when I first met her. So a little bit of background on me. I'm just going to show some other pictures of Selita while I'm saying this. So when I was about 9 years old, I lived in Western Colorado, and we had different sets of friends, and some of them had horses. And there was one time I was with my dad, and we were in the pasture where the horses were, and this red horse that looks quite a bit like Selita actually came up to me and bit my arm. And maybe it wasn't a super bad bite or anything, but it felt kind of traumatizing to me, and I did have like a mark on my arm, and it was interesting. There was a little scar or a mole kind of thing that developed in the area. Carrie, my little doggy friend's making some noise over here. Hi, Carrie. And so when I got bit by this horse, my reaction was to turn around and punch it. And when I was 9 years old, and part of me thought, wow, that's a pretty big reaction. And so part of me was actually a little bit afraid of horses for a while after that. And as I grew up, I moved away from Colorado when I was about 10. And so, I just wasn't really exposed to horses very often. I dated a guy when I was about 25 who did English riding, and he introduced me to his horses. But I met another gal who does equine partnered coaching. Her name is Kate Nelligan. She might be joining us here at some point. But she took me out to the Mother Ranch near Longmont in Colorado, and she wanted me to meet the horses. We were talking about maybe doing a workshop together. And we went into the pasture, and lo and behold, Selita, she wasn't galloping or running, but she was very quickly walking towards me. And Kate could see that I was kind of like a little bit scared, because I definitely felt a little bit of fear around horses. And so Selita approached me, and she came and she put her mouth right in the same place where I had been bitten by this previous horse. And she put her head there, and then she threw her head up in the air, and it felt like all that old energy from when I had been bitten by the horse before, like she pulled that off and threw it out. So that was my first experience with Selita, and we did end up doing a workshop there with her. And this is actually one of the pictures from the workshop. She was doing Selita does some pretty amazing healing work with humans. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to really talk with her today. So I'm actually going to shift over to a picture that's should be just Selita in the picture. I generally, when I'm doing the animal communications, try to pick a photo that does not include a human or another animal if possible. So it helps me really kind of focus in on this one particular animal's energy. All right, so hi, looks like Margaret is joining us. We've got some other people. So if you are joining us live, you can, if you have questions for Selita, if you're on Zoom, there should be on the bottom bar, there should be a button that says chat. Just click on that and you can type your questions in. And if you're on Facebook, then you can just type your questions into the comments, and hopefully I'll see them. Looks like I might have a little bit of delay here on Facebook. I'm going to refresh it and make sure I can hear everybody here. All right, awesome. I think we got it good to go now. So I'm just going to get quiet and start tuning into Selita and see what she would like to share with us today. I feel a lot of softness again coming in. Kind of been a theme this week, I think, with the animals is there's been a lot of softness. I get this sense of her energy really spreading out over the whole ranch where she lives. There's a sense of like, it's not exactly ownership, but it kind of ownership, like claiming it, like this is where I live, this is mine. There's this sense of her kind of being like she holds the other horses and the other animals who live there. So I'm not sure officially as of today how many horses live at the mother ranch, but there's other animals, goats and things. And Selita is showing herself as this central point. Like it's almost like the energy for the whole ranch kind of lands on her in a way. Is that what you mean? Yeah, she feels herself as a very central point to all of this. So, Selita, I wonder how have things changed for you since this pandemic has started, or what do you see about it? Well, she's saying, well, it hasn't, things haven't changed all that much for her. Where she lives, it's not like there's always tons of people coming. I'm still getting to see my favorite humans. She's showing the people who own the ranch, and then her friend Kate, the equine partner coach. She really is enjoying just like getting to see her. Yeah, and she's saying it doesn't affect me in the same way that it affects humans. Is there anything you would like us to know about the situation or ways that we might be able to, I don't know, make it through this pandemic shelter in place time? So what she's showing me is this softening in her energy. What she was showing me is humans tend to be um, tightened in is how I'm feeling it, is their energy gets really pulled in, and um, there's a rigidity to it, like a stringentness, like the way that we think things are supposed to be. She says we've got to let go of that. Can you say more about that? She's encouraging us to practice softening our energy. And what she's showing is, so whatever state of mind that you're in right now, you can just close your eyes and kind of scan through your body, through your physical body, through your energy, and noticing, wow, are there places that are tight, or where the energy feels kind of crunchy, or like, and if you feel those areas in your energy, there's a way of like consciously like putting your awareness there and just letting it open up and relax. That's what she's showing. She's saying that unclenching your belly can really help as a starting point for that. She's saying a lot of people are really clenched in their belly areas and they just don't even realize it. And she's saying it may not even feel like a physical grasping. We're so used to it that it just kind of feels normal. She's showing how we can kind of just let our energy spread, and letting it go out in a more kind of horizontal fashion is how she's showing it. So Selita, I do have one question that somebody sent in to me before, and this question is from your friend Kate. She's wondering if you are blood related to Lindsay or bringing Lindsay's energy in at all for her. So as you know, Lindsay, for our viewers, Lindsay was a horse that Kate previously owned and passed away about 3 years ago. So what she's showing is she doesn't think they're blood related. It's more of like group related. Can you expand on that a little bit, Celita? So she's showing these groups of souls, I guess you could call them, like animal souls. And all right, Selita. It's almost like she's like, yeah, I'm not blood related to Lindsay, but we are of this same kind of soul group. And we do a lot of, like this group that I'm in, we do a lot of specific work that is similar, like the different animal souls. It's almost like you're working on a similar project is not quite the right word, but like there's a certain set of life lessons or something that they're trying to work on. And so she's saying, Selita is saying that her and Lindsay are part of this same kind of soul group. And yeah, so they're not blood related, but they do hold like similar energies in what they're bringing, what they're trying to bring into the world and healing with people. Okay, thank you, Selita. So Selita, you're the first horse that we've talked to in this series. I wonder what you might like to share about being a horse or the work that you do with humans. The forum's really kind of open for you, whatever you might like to share with us, Selita. So what she's showing me is she's showing her knowing, it's almost like her spiritual vision of things spreads out to the whole ranch. And she's saying that as humans, we don't tend to have this kind of bigger vision of things. We tend to be much more focused on, okay, this is my life, this is my family, this is my job, this is the stuff I'm interested in. And she's showing a bigger world view that she has. And she says it's beyond the ranch. Like my energy, my vision, my awareness goes beyond the ranch. I'm really, really tied in and aware of the ranch in particular, but I'm also able to see things from a higher perspective. Okay. Is there something that you feel like humans could do to get that perspective? You know, it seems like a lot of us are maybe just tied up in our own little world and don't see beyond that. Do you have any advice for people? Yeah, she just keeps showing me this spreading of the energy. Is that about, learning about other people or cultures, or I feel like there's more there, Selita, that I'm not quite getting. Can you help me understand better? Yeah, she's saying, well, this isn't just a like American problem where people are very self-focused. It's a worldwide thing. We've really become in the last 100 years a very global kind of economy, global kind of existence. But at the same time, yeah, it's almost like she's showing these different levels of humans where some people can see the bigger picture and are working in a global fashion. but she's almost showing it's like those are the people who maybe have a lot of money or are working with multinational corporations, these big kind of corporations, like they really have to have a bigger view of the world. But she's saying it isn't always accurate. It can be really focused on the economy or um, things that what she's saying don't really matter in her grand scheme of things. Like, she's like, I'm not saying the economy is not important. It's just there's some of the people that she's seeing that are able to hold this bigger world view tend to be a little bit more money centric. Is there a way that you feel like people who don't hold that kind of viewpoint but are able to have the bigger world view could shift things, or a way they could connect in differently? Selita saying, I'm not really sure what the answer is. I guess I just wanted to share with you what I'm seeing about it. Okay. Thank you, Selita. Checking for any questions for Selita. Selita, I wonder what it is. It seems like you really enjoy being a horse in this incarnation. Can you tell us what it is that you like about being a horse, or how you work with people? She likes the bigness of being a horse, is a big part of it, is what she says. She's saying we're one of the biggest domestic animals or domesticated animals that work with humans. And she really wanted to bring this bigness into her existence in this particular incarnation. Yeah, she's showing me, like, even for me, Tracy, to remember the first time I went into the pasture with her, like I was so struck by her bigness, like literally her physical bigness, but also her presence and the bigness of her presence coming forward. Yeah, she's showing the bigness really allows her to, the physical bigness allows her to surround. Yeah, it really feels like this surrounding of people when they come to visit the ranch or come into the pasture. Gives her the ability to hold in a much bigger way. She's saying, I've come in as a cat, I've come in as a dog, and I'm not saying that that's not valuable or anything, but there's this bigness that she's able to bring through being a horse that she hasn't been able to in other incarnations. I had a question here for you, Selita. Selita, what do you think the opportunity is for us during the lockdown time to bring back into our to bring back out into our lives once we get more external again? Like, what lessons do you feel like we can learn from the lockdown that we might be able to bring back out into the world? She's showing it's really a lesson in how we affect each other. She's showing the virus and how quickly it spreads, and there's a lot of unknowns about the virus still at this point, but she's showing it almost like this network of, it's not quite a spider web, but it's more, I'm seeing this kind of fractal pattern spanning out, but she's showing like the interconnectedness of everybody. That's something that we can really learn. We're going into lockdown because when we have the togetherness, this virus spreads. So she's really saying she wants us to come out from this understanding how our individual decisions can really affect the whole system, the whole herd, if you will. They're talking a lot about herd immunity these days, and she's saying it's a similar kind of thing where, like, one little person or animal in the herd gets sick and it can spread to the whole thing. And she's really showing how we can learn how our actions affect other people, and to take that, to have a bigger perspective when we go back out into the world. Like, it's not just about all the stuff you can buy and, you know, sitting home with your video games. And there's this bigger impact that a lot of people don't consider, is what she's saying. All right, thank you, Selita. Just checking if we have any final questions for Selita. All right, I'm not seeing any pop-ups. We are kind of coming to the end of our time here. And so thank you so much, Selita, for sharing your wisdom with us here today. And thanks to all our viewers who have joined us. It's really been a joy and a really fun project for me to connect in with all these different animals. And it's just been really fun. So I'm going to keep doing these live sessions until at least the end of April. So if you have an animal, it could be a domestic pet, it could be a wild animal that hangs out around your neighborhood, feel free to send me a message, include the picture of your animal that you'd like to connect with, and we'll see if we can't get them worked into the rotation before the end of April. So again, thanks for joining me here today, and until next time, take care and be well.